It is an honor to have you here, sir. The time is yours.
Thank you, Mbak Rati, moderators, for this great chance to present my presentation, and please allow me to share my presentation here.
Sure.
Right. So again, it is my pleasure to present to all of you about the topic of fighting food waste in Indonesia, facts and challenges. And this is not just merely about food waste. I think my presentation is merely about setting up basic policy of how to handling waste in Indonesia, especially government policy, as well as some practices that have been conducted on the ground. So I have more or less 30 slides in my presentation. I do hope that I can spend on 25 minutes given by you to finish up this presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, and all students that join this seminar, I think there are 5 main programs of waste management in Indonesia currently. First of all, of course, still weak capacity of the local government in order to handle this kind of waste issues. And secondly, is a lack of awareness as well as producer responsibility. And I believe also there's a lack of awareness of the community, in doing handling or sorting any kind of a waste that we produce. And the third main issue is increased trends of plastic waste composition into the waste profile in Indonesia. And for this weak and law enforcement, we still admitted that our law enforcement in terms of doing this waste issues is still not really tight, but I think we are going, toward this more tightly in the next feature. And the last issue is actually scrap papers imported mixed with waste sometimes. So not merely just scrap papers. Oh. All right. Next is I want to show you all. Can you see my presentation there? It seems like something happened. All right, okay. So this kind of waste generation in Indonesia profile in 2019. And if we see from the sources of waste, we can see that households constitute the largest producer of our waste. So around 62% of it. And in the second place, actually, traditional market, which contribute nearly 13% of the whole waste that we produce nationally. And the third place is commercial centers, 7%, and the rest is the remaining is other sectors like office, public facilities, areas, and others. And
Dr. Alue, I'm sorry, but your presentation doesn't move. It just stuck in the first page. Would you able to share
it? I can see mine now. I'll start it from the beginning, yeah? Let's check it out again.
Okay.
Can you see?
We can see it, but
now?
We can see it, but it's still stuck on the same page, Dr. Alue, but
this one?
Yeah, this is the second page.
Is that right? So the graphs, can you see it?
No, not the graphs.
Oh, yeah? I don't know what happened actually.
That's okay. Maybe you don't have to make it a big one, only just...
I just stopped it first and then I started from the beginning, okay?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Alue.
Hang on. No. So what is happening here? Now I share it again.
Yeah, maybe just keep it like this, Dr. Alue. So.
All right. Okay. So if you see here.
Yes, we can see it.
Can you see it, right?
Yes.
All right. If you see the composition here, I mean, from the source of waste, I already mentioned it. From the composition of waste type, actually, you see like 44% of our national waste type actually come from food waste. So it's really big, you know. And the second place is from plastic, like 15%, and the next is wood or leaves, or twigs, about 30%, and the remaining other like peppers, glass, and so on. And if we see about the condition of our landfill system in Indonesia currently in 2019, nearly 60% of our landfill system now is still open dumping, yeah, and non-open dumping, right? Yeah, and the remaining 40% is like open dumping. So it's still a bigger challenge in order in the municipalities, in the cities, you know, to have this non-open dumping waste handling system. And in our regulation, I mean, we have, we call it national waste, national strategy of waste management. We have a key performance indicators. For example, by 2025, we have waste management capacity up to 100%. In 2019, we still, you know, 32%. And then we have target to have waste reduction up to 30%. Meanwhile, in 2019, around 3%. So it's still a huge gap. Waste handling, our target is up to 70% and so on. And you can see from the presentation. Solid waste management policy, as stated in law number 18 years 2008, we have changed paradigm in terms of you know, manage the solid waste. First of all, before 2008, for example, our policy just end of pipe solution, where we see the waste as a pollutant loads, no waste reduction, no waste to resource, no resource efficiency, and so on. And between 2018 and up to 2015, we try to reduce these 3 R's and extend the producer responsibility, where we try to reduce waste as a pollutant loads, and then reduction of source at source, and then waste to resources and resource efficiency, and limit to genuine resource extraction. And we also introduce producer responsibility. But from 2015 up to now, we now introduce, we call it circular economy, or circularity, and also green growth, where we try to see waste as a new life of, you know, of our communities as long as possible. And then we focus on the resource efficiency, and then we try to promote this circularity of economy circularity, we call it. We not see waste as a, you know, just something useless, no economic value, but now we try to see a new value out of it. And then we also promote sustainable cities and communities according to the Sustainable Development Goals number 11. And we also move toward responsible consumption and production as one of the SDGs goals number 13. And yeah, our national, it's at the wrong type, it's a national target on solid waste management. We, as I mentioned earlier, our target actually by 2025, we want to, you know, to reduce about 30% of our waste reduction target. And then we also have a target to handling up 70% of our waste in 2025. So there are indicators related with this. First, in terms of 30% reduction, we have indicators that waste per capita reduce, and then waste resource reduce, especially implementation of 3Rs through communities, and then leaking of waste to the environment will be reduced. And for the 70% waste handling, we hope that the waste handling through recycling, composting, biogas, thermal recovery, RDF, etc., increase in the future. And then waste to landfill reduce, and then the leaking of waste to the environments can be reduced too. And if we see the national target on reducing and handling waste as mandated in the presidential decree number 97 year 2017, we can see this target, right? And if you see in these tables, our projection of waste total in 2025 up to 70.3 million ton waste. And if we see right now in 2020, for example, like already 97.8 million tons. And target of waste reduction out of this production, the waste production, into 2020, we already achieved like 14%. So still a lot of target need to be achieved. And for handling, we now at the 50.8% or around 75% of what we produce in 2020. And this is what we call it a national waste management gap. Yeah. So as I said earlier, we have a target to reduce our waste up to 30% by 2025, and handling waste up to 70% by 2025. But in 2019, for example, we already achieved around, let's say, 15% of handling reduction, about the reduction, and 35% of the handling. So still quite earning gaps that we need to achieve in the futures. And national policy strategy on solid waste management. Look at this still in some Bahasa. So I think I just mix between English and Bahasa. I do hope all of you understand about this. For example, we have regulation and norm standard and what we call NSP, normal standard and procedure norms and standard. And we have international collaboration. We have SWM improvement, and we have producer responsibility, and we have community information and training. So all these kind of activities and so on, I don't want to elaborate on detail because you can see in the screen. And we have also a policy in terms of reducing plastic waste. First of all, our strategy is to redesign and innovation of this plastic waste through recyclability, reusability, compostability, durability, and so on. And we also try to reduce at the source of this plastic waste, especially through the limitation of use of unnecessary single-use plastic. And we also promote this, we call it green public procurement, green office or eco office, and green school or campus. And I think University of Parahyangan can also be leading on this. Community-based 3Rs, and we call it Bank Sampah or garbage bank or waste bank, what we call it. And then public participation and law enforcement. I think this one is very important one. So we have a Hari Peduli Sampah Nasional, National Waste Care Day, as we call. Every year we try to engage so many, as many stakeholders in doing, you know, one day collecting, sorting waste in the environment, for example. We have also National Waste Management Information System, public campaign, seminar like what we have right now, exhibition, dialogues, talk show, and so on. And the next strategy is to increasing waste total through the norm, standard, procedure, and criteria. And we also provide subsidy to the local government through special allocation budget and what we call the district incentive fund. And then we also have a green infrastructure, capacity building, technology support, monitoring and evaluation, EPR implementation, and so on. And the last one, plastic product and plastic goods. We try to eliminate it, you know, unnecessary and avoidable single-use plastic. I think several districts already have this kind of regulation to what we call it to stop the use of a single plastic bag into their supermarket and so on. Reducing over packaging and reducing multi-flexible plastic. And next is about circular economy in waste management sector. There are a couple of activities now that have been carried out in Indonesia. For example, we promote this recycle industry, and then waste bank or garbage bank. I think some many now in municipalities and so on in cities to establish this, we call it garbage bank, and then TPS 3R, and then trash collecting agency, recycling center. I think in Jakarta, in Bandung, in a couple of cities in big cities in Indonesia, they already have this recycling center from Ministry of Environment. We support them. And informal sector, social entrepreneur and social movement, like waste donation and so on. Waste management approach, there are three approaches actually that we try to promote at the moment. The government wants to promote. First is eco-living through waste minimum waste, and then circular economy and services technology. For example, like eco-living or waste minimum, yeah. First, basic concept of it is actually solid waste problem can be resolved through change in behaviors. These are, I think, the major important in this Indonesia. Yeah, if we not change our mindset, if the community and the whole stakeholders not change their behaviors toward eco-living, that can be very difficult for us to achieve our goals. First, is change in behaviors. It's easy said than done sometimes, because this needs, you know, awareness from the inside of the individual. And then waste reduction, prevention, and limitation. This concept actually thinking in very well developed, especially among young people at the moment, millennials. We have like a big bonus demography, or we call it a demography bonus, yeah. And I think they can play a big role in this change of behavior toward eco-living. And there are a couple of minimum target of waste approach. For example, again, we try to use a single-use plastic bag, and then cartridge, plastic straw, and styrofoam, and so on has to be passing down in 2029. And then second, about circular economy. Actually, basic concept, I think all of us already understand very well about this concept. Actually, we want to solve the solid waste that we use and we can use it in economic way, especially through this sorting the waste behaviors and recycling technology. So we do hope that this kind of activities can create another value of this waste, And currently there are circular economies ecosystem that we develop, for example, like recycling industry. Again, this garbage or waste bank, PPS 3Rs, and recycling centers, informal sector like scavengers, collectors, social entrepreneurs. Supporting circular economic condition, right now, government provide fiscal incentive actually to the industrial recycling, domestic scrap, and waste raw material. And then the scrap import policy, like paper, plastic, metal, rubbers, and etc. The policy to reduce the phase down import of scrap will be indirectly increase the potential for domestic waste to become industry of raw material. And the third one, actually, we try to, again, to promote this extended producer responsibility policy. And the last one is standardization of recycling product, and followed by policies to encourage the use of recycling center. Service and technology, basic concept actually, we try to advance the concept of collecting, transportation of waste, where possible, where problem can be solved through service by local government and technological approach. And then basic value of, for example, we use of technology like landfill, waste to energy, RDF, etc. And 100% services. Waste management technology, again, material recovery facility, recycling industry, composting industry, thermal technology, plastic to fuel technology, refuse derived fuel technology, waste to energy, and waste to electricity. I think we can, if you want to see like in Bantar Gebang in Surabaya, we now to change, to use this waste as electricity generation. And in the future, this kind of technology, we're gonna scale up to another cities, I think, because these are very potential, like a waste to energy. We have put some of the regulation, for example, Act number 18 to 2008 concerning solid waste management, and also presidential regulation number 25 2018 concerning waste-based power plant acceleration in 12 cities, and also Minister of Environment Forestry regulation as a basic rule-based to implement all this kind of waste to energy. And we also have improvement of landfill methane gas utilization as energy source. For example, there was a significant improvement of municipalities, agencies number that utilize landfill methane gas as a source of energy. I mentioned like Surabaya, Semarang, and Jakarta, and also methane capture as a gas already in 110 cities. The need analysis of solid waste pellets in Indonesia as co-firing of coal plants, PLTU, all that. There's also big potential in order to do this. For example, these are still very, very, very small scale, but I think we have a very big potential in the future to achieve this. Also in the technology of RDF in in cement. What happened with this presentation? I know, right? I changed it. Industry, like 5% of co-firing coal. We also try now to promote this. For example, like Cement Indonesia Group now, they RDF volume they produce now around 665 tons, yeah, and daily like 2,200. and others manufacturing also. I think there's also bigger potential that we can use it in the future. So these are co-firing implementation in 52 plants by our PLN or state electricity company. And I don't want to detail on. You can see in the maps distribution of these 52 plants. Next is about biodigester. Biogas actually a type of biofuel that naturally produced from the composition of organic matters. And biodigester is often called as a biogas building, namely a close to tank contain organic material fermented and thus producing biogas as energy, which also accompanied by fertilizer from this organic waste. And this kind of, we call it bio conversion or black soldier fly, for example, is a picture of it. And the use of BASF, larva as organic waste processor is a good opportunity actually, because we can harvest this BASF larva can be used as a source of protein or for animal feed or livestock. And then can be also become a alternative for feed substitute, for conventional feed and product required fertilizer with high amino acid and compost. That's kind of example of BASF life cycle. I think I don't want to detail on that. And this kind of BASF cultivation output. So that's why I said we produce a larva that can be animal feeds for other livestock, and also liquid organic fertilizer that can be used for agriculture and composting. I think that merely my presentation. I do hope you can capture all of it. But yeah, again, these are about general policy and practices of waste management in Indonesia. So thank you all for your kind attention. I give it to Ibu Rati. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Alue, for your presentations.